Welcome my diamond painting friends. Today I'm going to do a kit up of this, this is one that was sent to me, and it's off of people that are off of Amazon. And anyway, I got this kit. I'll put a link to this video of the kit when I did the unbagging. But I'm going to kit this up. But today I'm going to talk to you about obedience. I feel like that's what we need to discuss today, is being obedient. So, and I have this that's new, and I'm going to put how I got this off of AliExpress, the company that I got it from. I paid for this. It took quite a while to get here, but I'm excited to see how this system works, and if this works for me. Lots of times I use this little thing that looks like my dad. And when I was growing up, my dad used to put like all his little parts in. It had little drawers in it. I use that a lot. Sometimes it's really too big, especially on something like this. It isn't really that big. And if I'm traveling like this summer, I know we're planning on going to Hawaii. You know, I probably shouldn't take my diamond painting, but you never know. So I'll probably take it with me. I'm not sure all that stuff was. And I don't remember, I can look it up what the price was on this if I look at my orders. Boy, these are like smaller than a Tic Tac box. These are like really little. So the top comes off. And they gave me the stickers to write the name. I'm pretty sure I got all the colors. So we're going to put the numbers and then what the color is. So let me look. I got a Mother's Day pin from church. So, but I think I got another pin here that'll work. Yeah. That one will work. Look at that. So organized. And let's look at my account. And shipped. Let's look and see if this is on here so I can tell you the price. No, don't go back. Doesn't show, but I'll find it. I was hoping I could tell you real quick. So the top, as you can see, just came off. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So 16 times 3, so it's like 40. It's more than that. Let's do the math. Man, I'm getting rusty here. No, I'm going to get better. 48. Honestly, that didn't sound right. 48. So there's 48 in that little box. That's a lot. Okay, so let's do number 1. So my word today is obedience. And hopefully this doesn't make as much racket. This plastic was like quiet, so you wouldn't be like, oh my gosh, I can't hear. There goes my cat. Ah! Now see, I wasn't supposed to show that. No. Uh-oh, here comes my cat. I got help. No, kitty. So this is my new cat. She is 8 months old. I just got her this last week. She needed a home. So, and she's the aunt of my son's kitten. And when I found out she could fetch, I was like, this is my cat. And I love Russian blue kitties. So I know you want to get in the middle of this kitty, but you're going to have to go down there and play. So she's learning what she can and cannot do at my house. It's been fun. So maybe this will work easier if I go like this. And I cut a little more off. So we're going to talk about obedience. So I'm just going to pray real quick. Lord, give me the right words, Lord. Give me the words, the direction, whatever you want me to say, Lord. It's all about you. It's not about me. So Lord, you just steal the show, as Matt talks about. So Lord, just steal my show, whatever you want him to know. Wherever it is that you want him to learn, Lord, that you just give me the right words and the wisdom and to help others. And so I want to be obedient to you, Lord. So, obedience. that sometimes is a really hard thing to do. Because lots of times, to do the right thing is like the hardest thing to do. It's easier just to walk away and say, that's not my problem. Doesn't really matter. Those people aren't Christians. It doesn't, you know. There's so many excuses that you can have. And obedience is doing whatever you're told without questioning. This world today, kids especially want to argue about, why do I have to do this? Why do I have to do that? It's so hard, blah, blah, blah. And when we were growing up, my age people, there was no arguing about it. There was no, you just did whatever you were told to do and you didn't question it. And today, everybody questions everybody about why they chose this, why they picked this, you know, on and on and on. So, and that's weird that that's on the bottom. I bet I should have put that on the top. Oh well, live and learn, right? So that's going to be number 1. I'm just thinking the sticker, though, every time you pick it up, it's going to bend. But maybe it'll be alright. So I'll get a needle later and pick that off. So I heard a story of somebody I went to college with in North Carolina. And they had a little sister. And the mom had got the little sister out. And the bigger brother, which I was friends with, was home when it happened. The house caught on fire. And when the mom got the little sister out, she said, you wait here by the tree. I'm going to go get whatever it was, pet, another child. I don't even remember the story. But anyway, while the girl was out there supposed to be waiting, she went back in to try to find her mother. And that's when she didn't make it out because the mom told her to wait. And sometimes obedience is like that. Like, we don't want to do whatever it is that we're supposed to do. But the thing is, when we know it doesn't make sense or something we don't like, it's very hard to be obedient because we're like, we want to know why. Like, it's uncomfortable. It's because I'd rather choose whatever I want to do. And it's kind of like that with God. Because, Kitty, I'm trying to talk. And, obedience is sometimes hard to do because we want to know why or how or what am I going to get out of this. And sometimes, especially with God, you don't know how or why. You just know that you're supposed to do it. And lots of times to the world, it makes no sense because they're like, why are you doing that? You know, makes no sense. And that's how God works. He does a lot of stuff that makes no sense. And it's difficult. But when you look back, as time goes on, then you're like, oh, I understand. Sorry, Lord. You knew what was right for me, even though it hurt and it didn't feel good. And doing the most, being obedient, sometimes, like I said, the hardest thing is just doing what you're told to do and not have an understanding or why until later on. And then you're like, oh, you were looking out for my best interest. And so, you know, you have to think about that when you're doing stuff. That it's not all about just you. It's not all about me. It's about the whole everybody. And it's a difficult lesson to learn, but once you learn it, you just don't even think about it. Once you realize God is looking out for your best interest 24/7, then you just do it. And then you get rewarded for that. You know, later on, you'll be like, oh, now I get it. If I wasn't obedient, I wouldn't be at this point, or I wouldn't get this. You know, we think, because we get to choose exactly what we want all the time, that we're doing ourselves a favor because only we know what we want. When we have to realize that God knows everything about us, the good, the bad. He knows your heart's desire. He knows where you want to be, where you're going. And the more you're obedient to Him, the more gifts, the more things He will put you on different levels. And yeah, there'll be tests. There's going to be some hard times. But He will greatly reward you if you'll just be obedient. and just say, no matter how much this hurts, no matter how difficult this is, I'm not giving in and I'm not giving up. And I want to do whatever it is, God. Because in the end, He knows exactly what you want to do. You know, He knows where your heart is. And if your heart is with Him, you can't go wrong. And He will definitely give you the desires of your heart. And that's a hard lesson sometimes to listen to. Especially when we live in a world about me, I, me, I. You know, everything is about, people are so selfish. And that's part of the end times. And it makes it very difficult sometimes because it's so easy to judge everyone else. And maybe they're not at the same place that you're at, but you have to just love them and think the best of them, even if they're not at the same point you are with your walk with God. Because God was patient with you when you weren't living right and you weren't doing things right and you were being selfish. And so you are put in God's shoes by being patient for someone else. And so you have to think that, God was patiently waiting on me when I was out only thinking about myself. And that's a loving God, It'd be so much easier to say, hey, I'll just program it to love me, love me, love me. And He is such a loving God. He is willing to be patient and risk not ever having you with Him in eternity. He loves you so much, He allows you to choose that for yourself. And there's a great gift in that, because you're just like, wow, God loves us so much. We think God's a strict God, that He's so strict that He's always judging you or thinking the worst of you, when it's the opposite. He knows your heart. He knows your mind. He knows every hair on your body. He knows everything it took to make you. And He knows your heart most of all. And if you just give Him your heart and just be obedient, He will give you the desires of your heart. Things that you never tell people. Oh, here comes my cat again. Come here. No. So He will give you the desires of your heart. There's things that one time happened. There's this gorgeous sweater, and this is back when I was with my first husband, and I never told a soul about it. I would look at this catalog back in the day when they used to mail catalogs, and I was in my 20s, and I never told anyone that I absolutely loved this sweater. I was just, wow. And I never said anything to anybody. It was like $40 or more. It was a lot. I'm not allowed to have much of anything, But guess what? Clear out of the blue, I get it as a gift from somebody. I never said to anyone, no one but God knew I wanted that sweater. And I started bawling when I got it, because I knew that God knew that I wanted that sweater. And it was so pretty. And the person that got it for me never gets me clothes. So I about fell over. But it was God. I knew it in my heart that was God. And even when people cheat you, or they don't treat you right, or they don't do things that are right, don't be stressed. Like, God sees every tear you drop. He puts it in a bottle. Everything that seems extremely difficult, and you keep doing the right thing and being obedient, He will make it up to you. You just have to allow Him to. And be patient, and just know that God sees everything. And even if He's not saying anything, He is right there with you in the midst of it. He is keeping track. And then all you have to do is remind God of His promises in the Bible, of making things up to you 7 times, whatever it is that you lost. And He will have to make it up to you. So, don't try to figure it all out in your understanding. Sorry, I'm watching my cat. I'm going to go get him in a minute. She's a little excited, So don't lean on your own understanding. I'm going to stop this for a second, and I'm going to go get my cat. Sorry about that. I'm back. Delilah, she was going a little crazy over there in the family room. So down here in my basement, I've got like a family room. I got a big open space. It's probably like, it's a lot of square footage, probably 1,000. And so there's a lot of room for that cat to roam around in. So I put her back with Matt. So she's just a happy cat. So sorry about that. So back to obedience. I know my one job I used to work at, like one of my bosses, and I know I've said this before, but he's like, this is the thing. If you're always doing the right thing, even when no one's looking, it's going to come back to you as a great and positive thing. You feel like if you see a shopping cart loose and nobody else is picking it, or trash or whatever. I know Joel Osteen is like one of the best examples of it. He will tell you, you just keep doing the right thing when no one's looking. God is taking that to account when, you receive grace not because of your good works, but you still need to do the right thing even when nobody's looking or you think's paying attention. And you are God's ambassador, so you have to be doing the right thing all the time. It's a definite thing. God doesn't want his people. Pretend you are a representative of God, no matter what you do at work. It says, do unto the Lord. And if you do everything the best to your ability and you ask God for help, he is going to give you things, gifts from him. Whether it be ideas that you didn't even think about, he will send the right people. And you will know that was no accident. He is going to bless you beyond, even if, I always say, like, even when my son and I lived in this ghetto, we call it the ghetto, because it was a townhouse, and it was in a rough neighborhood. And I prayed for my neighbors all the time, because we saw a lot of stuff go on there that was pretty sketchy. And even my mom was like, I can't believe you live here. And I said, well, God told me to live there, so that's where we're supposed to live. And she's like, and he protected us the whole 3.5 years that we lived there. And so while we were living there, when I was praying for people, I got like the cheapest rent ever living there. And so what I did was God had me save money that I could have spent twice as much on rent and gotten a house. But I worked 70, 80 hours a week, constantly working hard to save money because I was a single parent. And we took care of that townhouse like it was the most expensive home we ever owned. And God honored that. And I've heard T.D. Jakes say that before too. Just take care of it, whether it be your car or your home. Because once you get this concept of God owns it all, we are just, like money, it's a tool. So when he gives you money or a job or allows for you to make a certain amount of money, I always say whatever money I have in the bank is all God's. Whatever cars I own is whatever that belongs to God. And once you get that in your mind and you realize he owns it all and you treat it to the best way possible, and I always talk to my cars, I'm like, you're going to give me lots of years of good service, free service. I know that's stretching faith there, but I talk to all my cars, and guess what? I have lots of worry-free trouble, no breaking down. It's not, and then when I go buy cars, I always get good deals on cars. I always get good deals on clothes, whatever. I always say that comes from God, because people will scratch their head like, you're a woman, like, how in the world did you find that? It's God. It's not me, it's God. He owns it all. He gives me the wisdom for it all. It's not me. It's just that I allow him to live in me and give me those nuggets of, wise decisions. He gives me insight, because he owns it all. He knows what car to go get where at what dealership, and sometimes it comes out like really quick, and other times I have to look around for a while. But I don't worry because he owns it all, and there's a million cars out there. I never even worry about it. And I just try to do my research on everything that I buy. And that way I'm using God's money wisely. I'm not just buying whatever, whenever. I try to be a good steward of whatever he gives me. Because like I said, he owns it all. And for some people that's a stretch, but if you've lived as long as I have on my own, I've started out with nothing 3 times. Nothing. Nothing but the clothes on my back, a few items, and maybe a car, and no money in the bank. And you do that enough times, and God helps you every time, you get to where you rely on God, and it's like, even if this country falls apart, even if the world goes under, because people think security is the money that they have in their bank account. I think wasn't Indonesia, what's the country that they're having, like, they were throwing money out in the streets, you know, some of those people could have been rich, and their money is worthless because the whole country has gone under. And so, that's what I'm trying to say. If you realize it's all his, you're not sitting there trying to plot out, and you start living life for him, and doing what he wants you to do, all those things will come to you. You know, you'll be at the right place at the right time. So being obedient pays off dearly. And I can't stress it enough. And how do you know you're going in the right direction? You know you're going in the right direction when people see you prospering. And they're like, I don't understand. They will hate you for it. So I know one of my friends, she used to feel bad for me at work because all these people would talk about me. And I was like, it's okay, I don't care. It must be going in the right direction. If they're talking about you, they're probably jealous of you. And there's nothing to be jealous of because God is not a respecter of persons. He will do it for anyone who believes in him. So, he gets my money, he gets my heart, he gets everything. And then God just blesses me with whatever he wants me to have. But it's that continually going back to God and being obedient. Like, obedience is taking care of your body. You know, a lot of people just eat to be eaten. And they don't eat to me, food is like a fuel. God wants you to enjoy it, but if you're not taking care of your body, you're not honoring God. Because this is where the Holy Spirit is supposed to live inside you. And if you're not maintaining your weight or trying to do what's best for you, and I know there's some people, there are medicines like thyroid or something like that. But what I'm trying to say is do the best you can do that you know how. You know? God will honor that. You don't have to be perfect. You just have to have your heart in the right place. That's all the Lord wants is your heart. And when people go, oh, the church, they want your money. But God can use that money that you give. It's kind of like a test. You know, like, will you trust me with my kid, God? Will you trust me? You know, well, I trust you with my kid. I'll trust you with my money. They're just steps. And once you realize that God owns it all, has it all, and he wants better for you than you can even dream or think of. And once you realize God loves you more than you can imagine, more than you love your kids, then it's really easy to me. Wow. You know? How can you beat that? He's our Father. He wants us, and once you become reliant on him for everything, it's not reliant of, oh God, I don't want to work today. I don't want to do nothing. You're going to pay all my bills. No, it's like, I'm going to do the best I can. I'm going to go get a job. I'm going to work. Whatever God calls you to do, just because it works for me doesn't mean it'll work for you. But he can put you in the right place at the right time. You just have to ask him and listen and be obedient to whatever it is he wants you to do. And sometimes it makes no sense because you're like, I'm making less money than I used to make. And that's a test. Do you still love God? Are you still going to do whatever He asks you to do, even if you're not making as much money as you used to? It's just like a test to pass. Most times that stuff, He gets really, really quiet. And when there's a test, you know how that goes. There's no talking. And then about when you think you can't stand any more of the test, that's usually when it's over. So when you're getting down to the end and you just feel like you can't take anymore, that's the time to grip on, hold on, because you're almost done. It's almost over. You're going to pass this test. And people usually gives up. They're like, when it gets so bad, and then you're like, the world's like, see, she lost. No, I always say, even if the world thinks you lost, you haven't. Well, you lost that job or whatever happened. And that's when you still are faithful to God. Even if you get another job and it doesn't pay as well, you still keep hanging on. You keep being obedient. You see a shopping cart out there and it looks like it might hit somebody's car. You better go grab it. Go put it up. I mean, God's giving you tests. I don't know how many car keys I found. I don't know how much stuff I found that, I've turned in. And of course my kid's watching, my son that's left here at home still, he's taking note, and he's on fire for God. And I know it's not so much as what I say, is what I do. He sees me constantly going, God, here you go. I don't know what to do, but I know you're on top of it and you're going to do what's best for me. He's seen me do it so many times. And then just give me the right direction, whatever it is you want me to do, Lord. Wherever you want me to go, whatever you want me to give, it's all yours. And once you get that in your mind, you're giving Him access to everything. He has your heart in the palm of His hand. He just wants to bless you. And I'm not saying things will be perfect, but what I'm saying is, you're not alone. God's going to always make sure you have food on your table. May not have like what you want, but you're going to trust God. You're not going to live in the ghetto apartment forever. And He's going to take that money you saved and He's going to be like, here, I want you to do this and this and this. And you go, okay, Lord, this is what I'm going to do. And it makes you so happy when you look back and you're like, oh, thank goodness I was obedient to God and I was listening and I was praying and asking Him what to do. And don't give up. Because like I said, when it gets really hard, when it's really easy to go, you know what, I have all excuses in the world to quit. Don't quit, because it usually means you're almost there. Almost. Danny Gokey's got a song about that, about you can't see it right now, but it's coming. It's coming. And that's when you start thanking God, like, I can't see it, I don't know when, but it's coming. And that's usually when it happens. So don't give up on Him. I know you can tell I'm a lot more hyper. This is a normal faith. I was actually sick for over 18 months, 2 years. I've been sick over 2 years. And they diagnosed me with some stuff this last January. And I was really sick and I was really in a lot of pain. Finally, a couple months ago, I just asked God to take away the pain. I didn't try to think about, like, do I deserve this? Do I even deserve it? Should I live in pain? And then I'm like, nope, because God already paid the price. Jesus sent His Son, paid the price, and He died on Calvary. He's already bore all our sins, all our sicknesses. And finally the pain, intense pain, went away. And then slowly, the last 3 weeks, God took all of it away. I do not have any more stuff in me. And in fact, when I got diagnosed, the doctor said, you can probably be sick for another 2 years with this. He's like, the only way you're going to get over this is rest. And there's nothing we can do to help you get rid of it other than you are just going to have to rest. If you know me at all, I do not rest. I've got to be doing something all the time. That's very difficult. Other thing is difficult for me is to not work. That is not in my DNA. I have always had jobs. I've always worked ever since I was a teenager. Always got to be doing something. So that was very difficult for me to go, okay, I have to let my husband work all the time and I have to sit at home and rest. what is that? That is not me. And so out of obedience, I did, because the doctor's like, you're just going to have to be still. And I'm like, you don't know how much this isn't. But when they told me, I'm like, I'm not accepting this. God can heal me today, tomorrow, next week. I am not staying sick. And I had so many people at church I know that were praying for me because my husband asked. And I wasn't sitting around having a pity party, because I still was thinking in my mind, I am going to get well. Oh, this is only temporary. I'm not staying sick. I got stuff to do for Jesus. I cannot be sitting around. I'm not having no pity party of like, oh, I've been sick for so long. My thing is, if you can't say something positive, just don't say anything at all. It affects you. So if I seem a little wound up, if you've been really, really ill and you're feeling good again, you are going to be more excited than you were if you were ill. You weren't ill ever, and you didn't believe that. I've been sick with different things. I've died once for it was like 10-15 minutes. I was dead legally. And they even told my parents when I had this happen that they better plan on having a funeral. And my mom's like, I was 19 years old when this happened. They're like, you do not know my daughter. She is a fighter. You tell her she can't do it, she will find a way and she will do it. She is a fighter. And they were correct. I spent 2 weeks in ICU. I spent another 6 weeks before they get me weaned off all the drugs they had me on. And my chances of living was 1 in so many million. And even the doctor told me, like, people just don't come back from this. They don't live. And anyway, so you cannot get me down. You can for a little while. You might be, just like the Bible says, bent but not broken. You're going to have weight on you, but you're not going to be crushed. And just realize, even if you're going through a rough time right now, it does not last forever. Everything is going to be okay. It may not go down the way you think it should go down, but it's going to be alright. Everything is going to be alright. Joyce Myers is one of them that always says that. Everything's going to be alright. So, let's see. We only got 4 more left, and then I'll be done yakking. I'm just telling you this words of encouragement, not to give up, not to give in. Devil so wants you to be dead, and he wants you to give up, and just don't even stand for it, Just don't listen to him. Don't go by what you see. Go by what you know. If you keep reading the Bible, you keep listening to encouraging things, and keep putting that in your mind, then when things aren't feeling right, you can call upon those verses or those words of encouragement to keep you going, to give you peace, and know that God is with you even if you don't hear His voice all the time. And the only way you're going to know His voice is by spending lots and lots of time with Him. And that's how us as His sheep know Him, by what He does. By the Word. If you keep hearing the Word over and over, and you really just strive to please Him, it's going to all come together. Because I kept doing stuff that I've always been a Christian like forever, and love God. I never got mad at Him, but we all go through stuff. People mistreat us, and things that weren't right. Don't give in, don't give up. It's only temporary. God's got you covered.